Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2, where we have been working on this very exceptionally normal re-entry system. It is... I don't know what you're talking about. This is the most normal re-entry system I've ever seen in my life, bar none. Fantastic. So we currently have 5 shells of heat shields here, with the idea being that the shells ablate off, taking a large amount of heat with them. I think we got really, really close to getting slow enough to not burn off additional heat shields with 3 shells. I'm hoping that we don't need more than 5, but we can scale this up literally infinitely. We can take this as high up as we need to. So let's test it on a run of 5. As usual, I'm not going to make you watch this entire process. It's a very, very tedious one. But let's select the boat launch here. Let's put this out on the pad. And we're going to need to put this in orbit of Eve, and we're going to have to do this quickly. I just started up the game, so this is going to be interesting. Let's see how quickly we can get this done. Teleport. Orbit. Yes, this is correct. Get out of here. Get out of here. Hang on. Can we just pause? We probably can. That would probably make things easier. Now we can go to Eve, and we can teleport. Okay. Yeah, I should just pause it. To be honest, I should pause the simulation. That makes a lot of sense. So at this point, now what we want to do is we want to make sure nothing broke. Why are we seeing plasma right now? We're well above the surface. Okay, the game is just very confused. Let's put this into a higher rate of speed so that we get rid of that tumble and bring it right on around to retrograde. Okay, the game is very laggy. Okay, this is laggier than it was before, no doubt about it. So we don't want to have too many of these shells, if at all we can help it. But we're going to have to start expanding them. I really wish that we could do this through a staging system or an action group system. I should investigate that. So that's the abort stage. That's a solar group, and this is experiment. I wonder if we can put them into a custom action group. That is definitely something we should experiment with. If we can do that, that would be astoundingly good. So we're going to start expanding some of these heat shields. And we're going to have to get every single one of them expanded eventually. But for right now, we're more interested in just making it around to... Is that all of these expanding? I think it is. Okay. So for now, we're more interested in just making it around to retrograde. Okay. It would be very, very nice if there was a way to just do a one-button approach here. And I'm going to investigate that after we finish this flight. I'm not going to make you sit through this entire thing. We're basically at retrograde right now. So I want to drop our apoapsis, or rather our periapsis is the one that's going to be dropped. That's going to be dropped down to somewhere around, I think, 85 was pretty decent. So let's go ahead and fire that up. And let's drop that on down. While that's happening, I'm going to continue to extend some of these heat shields. But yeah, we definitely need to experiment to see if there's a way we can do this all in one action, because this is getting insane. No doubt about that. Okay, so we're down to 100 kilometers at this point. I think I may have missed one here. No, I don't think I did, actually. Okay. Seems fine for now. We're at 94 kilometers on the periapsis, so let's get this stage done. Cool. I'm not sure that these actually extended. They did not. We're at 88, 87, now 87, 86, and I'm shutting down the engines, but we're a little further. Yeah, this'll do. Okay, so now I'm going to cut out as we do the upper atmosphere, and I continue to extend all of these heat shields. So I will be back when something interesting happens, and that will probably be at the periapsis when we do our next burn. See you guys in just a moment. Okay, so here we are, approximately 30 seconds from the periapsis. We're going to begin our burn here probably like 8 or 10 seconds before the periapsis, as before. Something along those lines. Now, a second is not a second at this point. I want to be very clear about that. That is 100% the case. We're on 4x time acceleration, and a second is closer to like a second and a half or 2 seconds on 4x time acceleration. So that's quite a thing. I've gotten all of these deployed, as you can see, including getting the air brakes deployed. So that all looks good for now, and we are slowing down as we approach this periapsis. That is excellent, but we're 15 seconds away from it right now. We're going to fire up this Mammoth 2 engine here in just a moment. And yeah, I think I'm going to do it at about 8 seconds, maybe a little later than that. We'll see what it feels like. 9 and 8. Lighting up the engine, and we're going to decelerate fairly precipitously. Of course, it's a slideshow at this moment, and I mean, I can't say I'm shocked about that. Things will improve, but this is going to be interesting, for sure. Okay, so we're definitely past the periapsis, or where the periapsis originally would have been. So at this point, of course, I'm noting that we've got a little bit of pitching that's happening. Is that under control? Should be. I'm going to take us out of time warp because I want to ditch this engine. There we go. And I want to extend this heat shield. Perfect. So we're now still working on holding attitude. Yeah, looks like we're fine on the pitch. I'm not seeing any actual pitch problem there. That is good. And of course, the sun is beginning to come up over here. That got very bright very quickly. But that is a thing that is happening, so now we're going to be able to see. That's a good thing. And we're also just going to be holding here for a while. We need to let our sea level altitude drop to about 78 kilometers before anything interesting happens. And as you can see here, that's not dropping very quickly. So again, I'm not going to make you sit through all of this. We'll be back once we're a little lower in the atmosphere. See you guys in just a moment. Okay, so here we are most of the way towards things being interesting again. We're currently at below 80 kilometers, and we know that we start to have issues around 78 kilometers. And those issues, of course, our heat shields start to overheat. That's fine. We're completely okay with this because they're designed to. Excellent. So the real question is now the same as the 3 major questions have been in the past. Question 1, is 5 shells enough? Question 2, what is our terminal velocity? Question 3, what does our parachutes bring our terminal velocity down to? Those are the 3 questions that must be answered before we can move on from this phase. There we go. There's our outer shell beginning to exhibit some heat issues. Let's drop this down to 1x time acceleration at this point, just to get, hopefully, some additional frames. That would be nice. For the record, when it comes to the frame rate, KSP2 is currently using 8% of my CPU and 12% of my GPU. This is not a hardware issue. KSP2 is just not very optimized. That's the only thing we can really say about that. So, let's take stock of our current situation here. We have outer shell starting to get some heating here. We've currently traveling at 3141.2 meters per second and just crossed 78 kilometers. That looks good. We are decelerating, which is always a good sign. But we're going to have to get a little deeper in the atmosphere for this deceleration to start actually having a significant effect. And that means that we're going to have some of these heat shields exploding. This is very normal and absolutely expected. As those heat shields ablate off, they will carry tremendous amounts of heat with them. And then we won't have to worry about that heat. This is literally the only way that I know of in KSP2 to dissipate heat. Is just this. I mean, ablative heat shields do exist, but not in quite this size, I don't think. So we had to make our own ablative heat shields. In KSP 1, I don't think I ever experienced, even when doing this sort of a re-entry, I don't think I ever experienced having our inflatable heat shields explode. But apparently that's a thing in KSP 2. So if we take a look at our current speed, we can see we're going at 3139.8. And we're definitely decelerating. The deeper we get in the atmosphere, the more deceleration we're going to get at the trade-off of heat. And that's absolutely fine. I'm wondering right now, where exactly is the sun? Okay, noted. So we are not quite halfway through the day side here. Okay, that sounds good. Keep in mind, we entered on the night side, came around to the day side, and we're just spending a very, very long amount of time in the atmosphere. But we need a huge amount of drag to slow this down. This is a very heavy payload. No, we're not actually having any authority issues here. We're just still having that roll oscillation, which is manually fixable, but the SAS has a hard time with it. For the time being, I'm not too concerned about a roll oscillation, although we definitely don't want it to get too bad. But the SAS is working on counteracting it. It just is a little overzealous on it, to be honest. It needs to be stopping now. There, something like that. Okay, so I manually counteracted that roll oscillation, but I'm willing to bet that we're still going to have a bit of a roll oscillation. But we are definitely keeping an eye on how our heat shield performance is here. Okay, so we're down to 75 kilometers. We're going to start losing some of our outer shell heat shields here very soon. But they're going to carry with them a large amount of heat. The real question is, as they burn off, even if they burn off in kind of random orders, are we going to have an attitude issue? Hopefully we don't. But they are going to carry with them a very large amount of heat, so we don't want that heat. Get out of here. We're down to about 74 kilometers at this point, and you can see our surface velocity is increasing the speed at which it drops, and that is very, very good. We would be absolutely delighted to have that velocity be going down a lot faster than this, but we have a lot of mass here, and this is about the best we can hope for. So we're going to lose a few heat shields here. It looks like the losses are going to be fairly symmetrical, which is reasonably expected. So that's good. Okay. There goes a couple of heat shields. And another one. And I'm assuming that fourth one. Yep, there we go. Looks good. That is all completely intended. Checking on our attitude. We are holding attitude. That's a good sign. And we're still doing absolutely fine on electric charge. Our electric charge is pretty good, to be honest. So that looks wonderful. We're seeing heat creeping up, but we're also seeing our speed going down. Now, our periapsis is going to be dipping negative eventually, but not for a while at this rate. We're at 11 kilometers up still. Okay, looks like we're going to lose a couple more heat shields on the bottom side here. That's going to start being a little less symmetrical. We'll see if we're able to continue to hold attitude. I think we will. Those heat shields are definitely going to be going away. There goes one. And the other. As those disintegrate, they carry their heat with them. Goodbye, heat. We don't need you. Again, the question is 5 shells enough? I think it will be, because 3 shells was incredibly close to being enough. Our surface velocity was starting to get real low by the time we got through that 3rd shell. So far, so good. We're holding attitude reasonably well. As we lose more of these heat shields, our attitude should improve and should go back to being decent. So that is good. We still have a few outer shell heat shields to get rid of here. We're going to lose those 2 side ones. And then there's this batch of 5 heat shields right here and the center heat shield. The center heat shield was a little bit later, and that is understood. So there go those 2. Fantastic. Keeping an eye on our attitude control, it is okay for now. We're trying to pitch, but we have that under control for the moment. That is because we lost all of these heat shields up here, but there's still these 3 here. So losing these 2 will honestly make that a little bit worse. I think. It's actually improving. Okay, that's good then. We are happy that that's improving. We're going to lose the top 3 heat shields very, very soon here. And losing those are honestly a good thing. Our periapsis has dipped negative at this point. Our sea level altitude is going to go below 70 kilometers very shortly. Gonna lose that center heat shield. Actually, we're gonna lose all 3 of them very, very soon. The heat on them is just building up, and there goes the center one. And now the left and right should go pretty much simultaneous. There goes both of them. Perfect. The only outer shell heat shield remaining is the center heat shield. That was opened significantly later than the others, so it has not had as much time to build up speed. Or rather, to build up heat. Okay. So first shell is just about burnt off here, which is absolutely as intended. We're still traveling pretty quickly here. I want to be down below 3 kilometers per second by the time, ideally, that the second heat shield ablates off. That would be ideal. We'll see if that ends up being the case here. But we were decelerating very quickly when the third heat shield layer ablated off in the last test. So I think that when that goes off and we get down to that 4th heat shield layer, we'll be decelerating so quickly that I don't think the 4th heat shield layer will ablate. To be clear, I think that 5 should be overkill. Which is good. We want overkill. Overkill is ideal. So that center outer shell heat shield is going to be ablating off very soon, and that's expected. That is the last outer shell heat shield. And with it goes a truly insane amount of heat. I'm not sure how much heat these guys can absorb, but it's a lot. And there it goes. Fantastic. Okay, so we're on shell number 4 at this point. Well, kind of shell number 2, depending on how you count it. There are 4 remaining shells, and our speed is definitely going down. We're seeing the shell number 2 definitely build up a lot more speed, a lot more quickly than shell number 1 did, which isn't surprising. We're at 65 kilometers altitude at this point. And we've only slowed down about 100 meters per second. But this will get more efficient as we get further into the atmosphere. The only question is, can we withstand the heating for long enough? I believe that we can. Ooh, what is this overheat? That is unexpected. I believe that that is these struts. Those should be covered by the heat shields. Okay. So we're definitely seeing some of this 4th layer break here. But yeah, those are certainly struts having issues. So these are these structural bars here. If those break off, then we've got significant problems. So that is noted. We'll keep an eye on that. That's probably what started to go wrong near the end of the last one. So I'm wondering why those would have an issue at all. They should be completely covered by the heat shields. Completely 100% covered. There are no gaps here. I don't think. I guess there are very tiny gaps here, but these panels are not in the locations where those gaps would be affecting them. So that's noted. We're losing an additional set of heat shields here. That is fully and totally expected, of course. Okay. We're decelerating nicely, but if we do end up losing these structural beams, then that's a big problem. That is a big, big problem. That said, look at how quickly we're decelerating now. We're crossing 60 kilometers. There goes another heat shield. And as we continue to decelerate, we are, in theory, going to be dealing with less and less heat at a certain point. We just need to get this speed down low enough. So my question is, are we seeing heat transfer here? Perhaps. But we're definitely seeing more of those heat shields ablating off. So this is the point where we were on the, or rather we were getting to the final shell in the last test. More heat shields falling off here. This is fully expected. The real question is, are these struts going to survive? Because if they go away, problems definitely ensue. But they seem to be doing quasi-okay for right now. Emphasis on the quasi. We are slowing down at a much higher rate. Gonna lose a couple more heat shields here. This is expected. We're getting down to that third level of heat shield, but in some cases, I think we might be... Yeah, this is getting down to the third level of heat shield. Okay, so this is where we were at the last level of heat shield on our last attempt. We need to be watching for... Ooh, this is a bad one. Yeah, these we don't want to see building up like that. That is very bad. But I'm going to let this play out, and we're going to see what this looks like. We don't have a way to dissipate the heat back here. That's not a thing in KSP2. In KSP1, I just slap radiators back here. But that's not a thing in KSP2. Okay, so what are we losing here? That's a heat shield. Those are additional... Okay, this actually broke. So we can see that that is going to detach there and cause significant issues. Yeah. So we're seeing this all come apart here because the struts are actually breaking off. And that's causing us to lose attitude. So... my question is, how can we go about preventing that? You can see our surface speed here. It's still a little higher than we would like. So, that's an issue, for sure. We're not having an issue with our heat shields failing here. Instead, that was an issue with our struts that hold the heat shields failing. They were behind the heat shields, and I expected that they would not have an issue. So that is a significant problem in that case. What can we do about it? Well, we can see what we've got going on back there for now. Let's do a bit of an investigation into what our options are there. I feel like there are very few options. However, I have an idea. You might ask, is it a dumb idea? The answer is yes. Yes, it is a dumb idea. The dumb idea is this. What if we were to go into our heat management And we're to take, like, I don't know what size we want, but one of these non-inflatable heat shields. And we were to slap it. I want to put it up here. I don't want to put it here. I want to put it up here. I guess we're going to have to put in a strut in each of these areas, but I want to check the size. We might need to go with a large heat shield, not an extra large. So yeah, we're going to need to put in a strut here. So that's going to need to be specifically, like, I think this one. And that would need to go about here or so on all of these, except that's not attaching there either. Yeah, about right there. No, that didn't attach. Okay, so it doesn't want to attach onto the side of this. Do we need to rotate this? That would be weird. Maybe we do. No, this is just a cube. Okay, so I want to put it in right about here, but I guess what we may have to do instead is have it come up. Actually, hang on. We're using a hub here. Would it work if we tried to put a truss in here? Yes, that attaches. Okay, so I'd like this to be, like, medium size, I think. Max temperature of 850 Kelvin. That is noted. Not medium, small. Okay, so we would put this guy right up about here or so, at the center point of this structure. Then we would attach a heat shield right onto that. And I want to know about sizing. Not medium. Maybe not large. Yeah, I'm going to put in an extra large heat shield there. So it's going to work like that. Okay, so that goal is to protect this truss. And it just goes in like that. Now, these are ablative heat shields. Max temperature of 1700 Kelvin, and if we look at this, we can see we've got 3.2 tons of ablator. Yeah. So that'll be fine for now. We just need to grab these, not that. That is not what I clicked on in the slightest. Okay, that's going to have to go back down over here. Actually, can we just... I don't want to undo it because that's going to break all of our struts. We're just going to have to attach it down over here. And I want to look at where this other one was attached. It wasn't because it's in mirror mode. Okay, so we're going to have to attach this guy, like, right down over here. And eventually the game will get caught up. Okay, there we go. So this is going to have to get rotated to be... Why is it rotating twice with a single press? Can we not do that? That would be great. Okay, so we need to rotate this to be like that. It's rotating twice with a single click. Okay, I guess it works over here. There we go. So we'll put that back in like that. Really, it should be attached here, though. Please don't rotate twice with a single button press. That's very obnoxious of you. It's definitely rotating twice with a single button press. Okay. It's refusing to go into the correct orientation. You know what? I'm going to reload it. I'm not happy about it, but I'm going to reload it. KSP2 is so buggy. So I'm going to reload it, and off camera, I'm going to put in these heat shields, and we'll run one more test next episode. This should dramatically increase our drag level, and it should protect all of these exposed trusses. So that is the overall idea here. So we're going to have to put this in. I'm just going to make sure that we have the correct setup here. So we need to go down to truss. We need to grab a small one. We need to make this centered. It goes right here. And then we're going to put in an extra large heat shield. It goes like that. With the idea of, again, being this protects these exposed trusses. Okay. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. I'm going to finish this off camera, as I said. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.